diesen Felsen starr und wild, soll mein Gebet zu dir hinwehen.
Welcome to, once again, everybody that's listening. We are on episode 6 of A Couple of Simple Guys. We have some special guests for you tonight. They came from the East Coast, sunny Florida. And one special person here is from Washington. Both of them ex-Soviet facilitators of a lot of movement and a lot of interesting things, which we'll find out about today. To our left, we have the legendary international business and government consultant, has launched commercial use and private use for civil purposes of Russian military jets in the 90s. He created the most successful adoption services, adoption of children from post-Soviet countries into the United States. And you can see him running on the Florida beaches about 20 miles
an hour.
20-mile distance. The Valentin Plushko.
Thank you. Here I am.
Our other guest tonight, he's a legendary automotive master tech, has organized one of the most successful repair facilities in Western Washington. Used to work on military Soviet helicopters. He's a great dad, and if he can't figure it out, nobody can. Wow. The one, the only, Valery Plyushko.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and just you guys got the floor. So let's start with what you guys want to talk about. It could be business and whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna start, and what we'll do is we're gonna talk about general outline of running a business.
First,
running a business is like driving a car. Driving a car is not happened automatically. You have to build a car. In order to build a car, there are a lot of things happening. You have to have a lot of people. You have to know what type of car you build, what type of people you hire, what they do, what type of paint they put on, color, quality. There are so many intricacies of coming into driving a car. Driving a business or running a business, it is a pretty similar process. It is very, very complicated. That's why out of 3% of world's population, only 3% can even dream to start a business, and out of those 3%, only very small fraction will really survive and really will run a business. Running a business, it is much more complex. Number one, a business owner has to have a vision. Vision that is bold and realistic. And at the same time, the vision is not enough. You have to have a character, a very strong character to withstand failures. There would be building up like a car. It has a lot of difficulties, and the same thing building up a business. You will be failed many times. You will try many times, but if you are giving up easy, you're never going to establish and never going to run a successful growing business. So a businessman has to have a character, drive, and ability to lead. There are, I mean, I'm going to be, at this time, I'm talking very short statements, just basically putting up outline of a business. So just bear with me because we're going to be skipping things going back and forth sometime. Like running a business, there are two different types. You can be a boss or you can be a leader. A boss basically understands or requires people that would listen to you. They're going to be under your direct supervision, and you have to supervise them all the time. You have to be on top of them, and you have to constantly supervise and make sure that they do their job. They execute what has been planned or they've been trained to do. The leader is a very different business model. Leader hires most excellent talents. He is able to set up training programs, and then he is leading them just by showing an example or showing the way to lead. He is not a boss. He is inviting people for a journey to success. So there are two types of management style. And in a management style of a boss, usually you have to have, I'm sorry, but it would be less educated people, people that have lesser degree of character. They are not maybe executioners. They are followers, and they might not inspire themselves to the level that they will stay over time without being asked to. So it's a different type of people. So when you have a vision, when you build a business, you have to understand what you're going, and then are you going to be a leader or you're going to be a boss? You're hiring, I would say, dumb people, then you have to be a boss. But if you are a leader, then you have to hire intelligent, self-driven people, and you put them, you create for them environment to succeed. And they, with their brain, their character, their capacity, they will succeed definitely. So fundamentally, it's a very different approach for the vision of a business. Like every business is going to be, there are so many segments, like building a car, so many segments. You have to have tires, and those tires you have to have engineers for tires, and labs and tests and all that stuff. So in every single business, the more complex business, the more specialties you will have, like engineer that oversees a particular department, and that engineer, he's an expert of that particular area of business. And that engineer is, again, he cannot be a follower. Engineer should be self-sustained, not the leader. Maybe he's a leader, part of a system, but he must be able to lead his department. Educated people, smart people, to lead them for success, not to oversee them, but to set up a goal and get that goal achieved. Talking about human capacities, of course, not hiring people. We were talking today about hiring people. People, it is absolutely crucial if they're gonna lift you up or they let you down. People is like same like you have, let's say, a calculator, and you touch 2 by 4. It's supposed to be 8, but the calculator that you have is malfunctioning. It doesn't work well. So you click 2 by 4 and it gives you 35. So what it is that the calculator that you work with must be a right calculator. So that talking about human capacity of people you're hiring, first of all, you have to understand why you're hiring and what they're going to do. And then it is your job as a leader, as a boss, to interview and to see people through who you are hiring. You cannot blame a goat to being a goat, and you cannot blame a calculator if it's broken. It's your job to make sure that the calculator is working well, and the person that is you are hiring is capable of being trained. So he is trainable, he is teachable, and he is able to accomplish goals that you will be setting before him. So it is the leader that have put always blame on his followers or his employees. His followers are not to be blamed by the leader himself, because his failure to understand and to achieve the level of exceptional preparedness by the leader, what type of people you need, job description, psychological portrait of a person, and so on. So those are fundamental principles of any business you're going to run. And so we can go on from here. I mean, I've laid a very short but very critical elements of a box that we have to, we call business, that we have to fill in with the proper things that that box can operate, or a car can operate. So you had, Valery, you had some questions that we can address, or Kirill?
Yeah.
That we can address. I mean, anything that, vision, drive, character, people, execution. Another segment that is absolutely crucial is, if you have a beautiful car, and if you have a Schumacher, yeah, whatever his name is, Schumacher, yeah, a race car driver in the car, but if you don't have a gas in the tank, nothing gonna work. What it is that the gas is execution. The system that was set up to execute, to achieve the goals. So what it is that there are so many parts in business that are absolutely critical when you start building any business. Those things you must understand in order not to stumble constantly.
So you're with that comment, you're saying, like, you're talking about gas in the car, but I feel like when you start a business, you start with the tires. So how do you go from not being in business, is what you're talking about. You're talking about business and building a business. So how would one go from not being in a business to being in a business? They have this great idea. What is the first steps that they would make to start putting it all together? What are the areas they would be focusing on first?
And
if you could use some examples from your own personal experiences, both of you guys can talk about that. How you started your first companies, and how did that go, and what maybe you did wrong, and then what maybe you do differently if you could do it again.
you put so many questions into that. I don't know even where to start.
So if somebody wanted to start their own company,
okay, let's say let's say the paraphrasing. I mean, a little segment of your questions is how to start business the right way. Correct?
Yeah.
The right way how to start a business.
Yeah.
And I was born in Ukraine, and then we moved to Estonia, and I saw different societies, environment, and different peoples. They do things differently. In Ukraine, for example, a person would like, has a desire to build a place to live. Let's say we call it a house. And how he starts, he doesn't have a plan exactly. So he starts building one thing and then adds more, then puts roof, and then next year he starts and adds another room and then another room. And so it's like constant evolution of a business that was never designed from the beginning. To design a business a right way is like you going to an architect, a designer, and you say, I want to have a house. They're going to ask you how many children you're going to have. So, okay, you're going to have 5 children. So would you like to have each of them for a bedroom? Okay, 5 bedrooms. And you're going to have, so it's 6 bedrooms. How many bathrooms you would like to have? So what it is, the first thing you ask questions to your dream. What are you building? What is the end game? What type of car you're building? So the first and right way to do is to put everything on paper before you actually start running. And it's not that difficult. A lot of people are afraid of paper and a pen. When you start writing, you have to answer all of those questions. How am I going to run business? Number one, what am I building? And who's going to be using my services, or who's going to be buying my houses? And so on. So the first is to take a pen and a few pieces of paper and to start writing your need, why you do that, and what you do, and put everything on a paper. Let's say when I started, I never actually was in adoption business. What I offered a segment of industries that were involved in adoption businesses, I've offered them a package of services. And I can tell you, just so you basically understand. Let's say that there are a lot of number of small adoption agencies, and they have limited funds and limited understanding how to run business internationally. But they do have clients in the United States that really want to adopt children. So around them, there is a lot of gold laying. Basically gold, I would say, the clients. They have clients. But they do not have capacity nor understanding to get off to another country where there are a lot of orphans. Let's say go to Pakistan, and to study Pakistan legal system. Is it feasible? How to hire people in Pakistan? Who to work with? Who to meet? Who's going to work? How to interpret? How to translate all the documents? Do we need apostilles? And on and on and on. So what it is that I've designed a special package of services to an agency, the full package that I will go, or my lawyers go, or anybody of my company goes to a country, a destination that we agree with an agency, and we will develop that country for them. We're going to talk with lawyers. We're going to talk with translators. We're going to talk with government officials. We're going to be setting up everything that is needed in that country. And for that, my design was not to consult and leave, but to consult and further to provide those services I propose. So that's how you make money. Consultants, like, I mean, you consult, you go. You consult, you go. I mean, it's like you're never going to enjoy growing a business. So you consult for your own services, and that's you. So you design the package. So how to start business right is you have to think, you have to write, and it's not easy because basically when you're gonna start writing in your mental, in your imagination, you're gonna build that business that basically from invisible will become visible. But you have to first build that business in your brain, in your imagination. You have to talk over to yourself. And that's the right way to start a business. Of course, again, I'm getting very, very short version of that because you need to, let's say, get together with lawyers. You have to see validity of your business. I mean, there are so many ways, so many things. But the first thing is to put everything on paper. What are you building? Why are you building? And how you're going to execute and how you're going to achieve your goal. Everything has to be on a paper with absolute plan. So that's the right way to start a business.
How would you describe starting a business from nothing?
First of all, I got dreams, just build business, but I don't understand what is that. But first my dream was just build, manufacture, make it bricks. I just bought one book, how prepare business plan. I read this book and make this business plan. I go manufacture, find equipment where I can buy it. I find place where I can install it and build it everything. But last thing, I just looking around who can invest in money in my business plan. I looking around, left, I looking right, I see Valentin, ask his money, he look at my business plan and said, no, it doesn't work. And I failed. It was an up. It first my business plan, but he was right because it was my first step what I going. Then I immigrated to United States, and I just looking around. I didn't have any dreams about business. I think I will be businessman on the future, but I don't know what I will do. I work in there, and when I work in some shop, and I just figure out it's if you're working on the vehicle, usually you can see times. Usually if you come to work, it's time is just flying like 1 hour. Very, very fast. And it was surprise for me because time is flying. I was young and I never tired. But time I just make money and like it work in the vehicle and my time is flying because it was interesting. Then I go to college, take diploma for mechanic and opened after college I opened right away shop.
So did you start working on cars before you went to school? And where were you working on that? Were you working in a shop or were you doing it in your own garage?
No, I work in the shop. Then I go to college, graduate, then open my own business. But when I opened this business, I realized I didn't know anything about the system. Any government paper regulation, everything for me it was like I just burned
So
Like,
so if you were
I learned it from scratch. I just look at the paper and just figure out where is folder I have to put and what I have to do with this paper. It's not just uh, working with customer, working with vehicle. It's mostly working on the business system. I figure out just three numbers: income, expense, and it was income, expense.
And whatever left is mine.
Yeah, it's my three numbers. It's first what I just learned. Then I just figure out how government just charge tax. Then I learn how do graphs on the uh, computer, how computer working, website working, everything. But it was very hard. But
well at the same time, what time frame was this? What year when you started working in your business?
I started in 2002.
2002. So computers weren't really far along at that time.
Yeah, this time we work on the book. Usually, I spend for um, make estimate. I spent around half hour, 30 minutes just for estimate. When computers came, uh, with computer like with tools, it's time just I spent around 8 minutes. From half hour, it was scheduled 8 minutes. I started to estimate 8 minutes, but before I have to open the book and find exactly time everything. It should be. I have to call around and find parts. It's not no computer, no nothing to help me.
So Valera, did you have any consultant, like any business consultants?
No,
Nothing.
nobody. I just learned.
So
from
you were trying to
scratch.
do it all yourself.
Yeah.
See, the thing is that, and today you do have a pretty successful business shop.
Yeah, right now
It's
I
a,
learn
you know, auto
everything.
shop.
Yeah,
ABC Auto Repair, right?
ABC Auto Repair.
Yes. And see, what I was saying in the beginning, that you have to have a vision for a business,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you have to have a character,
I think
strong character, and that's exactly why you are succeeding even without much consultants or any experience, basically, because you have that drive and you have that character to not give up, to achieve. And that's absolutely one of the most fundamental and absolutely essential ingredients of a leader and a successful business owner. Not that long ago, I spoke with the owner of Zina guy. I told you yesterday, and it's interesting. He flipped last year over $100 million, and he has only six. He spent 6 years only in high school, in a school, basically middle school. That's all he finished. That's all. He didn't go to any college, nothing. But he has a enormous drive and discipline. At 43 years of age now, he built, and he is going up to $1 billion, and all not because of his education. He is apparently self-driven and executioner, but he has that discipline, the character, not to give up, because he told me that he had through a lot of difficulties, and the same thing with you. So, and because of your discipline and your character and your desire to succeed, to succeed, all you need perhaps at this time to learn really few essentials of successful business structures, how you build a structure that you can multiply, replicate. The replication in business, the replication is another key. If you will learn how to hire people, employees correctly, I mean, you figure out that the science, basically, the psychology of it, as soon as you do it once, then you replicate on 100 or 1000. But you have to learn one, and then you replicate. And the same thing, yeah, as soon as you build a first auto shop, and the goal is to make sure that it runs without you. You as a leader, you step out and you expect that you set the expectations for yourself, for the team, and hopefully that your expectations they will exceed your expectations. Your shop will exceed always your expectation, and it's like another essential understanding for employees, associates, part of business, that we always have to thrive to exceed clients or our own expectations in quality, politeness, whatever we do.
Yeah.
So as soon as you build this, your shop that is run without you, you become a leader. After that, building 3 or 30 is going to be a piece of cake, because it's going to be a replication of what you learn. But you must start learning those tricks. If you do that, then you just replicate into hundreds.
Yeah, I am agree.
So what right now? Right now in the auto shop, where do you see is your next challenge to overcome the hurdle to go to that next level? And what I think Valentin's talking about is scaling the business up. So what's preventing you from scaling right now?
What I see it's right now, it's we have to learn how hiring people, right people, teachable people. It's number one what we got problems for today. But our reputation and our how business is working, I'm agree. We got around, if from 1 to 10, I will tell around 7. We got around 7. But for us, more difficult situation with hiring people, recruiting people, and because we got a lot of projects. We see success at this project. We know how to do it this project, but it's need a lot of helpers, right? Helpers for our success.
So why do you think right now recruiting? Because how much do you have invested in recruiting? How much recruiting are you doing?
I don't think it's investing with
Investing
it.
time.
We have to find right person who like it and he like working with us.
Valery, I mean, let's say I would like to. I'm a good mechanic. I know everything about cars. I have, let's say, 25 years experience. I have tools, toolboxes, everything I have. So you invite me for an interview, and I'm here. So what are you going to offer me? What is the offer?
Why should I work for you?
Yeah.
First of all, I will ask you if you got experience tools and if you try and come to work in my shop. I will be give some project, no project, some job, and you have to just finish this job. And I give you money. I will pay salary. Very well salary. It just for finish it right and clean job.
Hmm.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Just finish it job what I give you right and clean. It will be success.
And so how much money are you going to pay me?
Depend what you can do. If you mechanic ABC, if you just beginning like loop mechanic, I will pay you $17 an hour. But depend if you have to do your job, finish it, and right. It will be no comebacks.
Yeah.
If you mechanic B, you have to be able working on vehicle, understand how vehicle is working, and able remove replace engine transmission and work on suspension. If you mechanic A class, you have to know how work in all electronic system and able how diagnostic the system. It's not. It's right now a lot of different model and a lot of different stuff.
Okay, but
What you have to know,
if
but
if I'm a
it
good
depends
mechanic,
what
if I'm
kind
a
of
good
level you
mechanic,
are.
And I'm telling
What
you,
it is that, yeah, Kirill, go ahead.
I'm a good mechanic, and what you're telling me is what you're gonna do is you're gonna pay for when I fix the car. You're gonna pay me. Well, that's great. That's
You have to
definitely-
finish
that's
it.
definitely what I want, but you and every other shop is going to pay me to fix cars. I asked, why should I work for you? I know you're going to pay me to do my job. That's what a job is.
Number one,
why
I-
should I work for you when I can work for the dealership? When I can work for Greg's Japanese Auto.
I try provide you clean, safety place, and all equipment what do you need. I provide you salary and benefits, and end of job, it's my like my I give you bonus. Bonus will depend you finish a job. If you if you be
So those are some like incentives.
100% efficiency, you will be got 15% bonus what you earn. If you will be 110% efficiency, I will be pay more.
Okay. But what's the future?
What kind of
Where
future?
Where is it gonna go? Where's the future? What's the future
Future
for me?
For
me-
mechanic?
For me working, yeah.
number one, I provide
Besides the benefits, those are incentives. But like, what
for me very important. If you're growing like mechanic, I will be sent you uh, any
training?
Yeah, you have to growing like mechanic. It's a success for us both. Every training will be bring us more and more business.
So, yeah, what it is that there are again and again, there are different people. There are different people, and that's what you have to look at. The smart people, most of people looking for stability, definitely more money, benefits, and so on.
Vision.
So, incentives. I mean, the package,
And
the
vi-
incentives, and
Vision. Where's
yeah. What it is that
Because you can fix cars, but what's the difference
Yeah,
between
yeah.
fixing cars and building cars?
what it is that again, based on your business model that you have at this time, you see a one shop, and when you interview people, you have to be able to understand that that person, let's say, he is going to be a great mechanic, but he is not going to be a great manager. So when you hire an exceptional people that are capable to become managers, what you can tell them and how do you have to incentivize them? Hey guys, we're going to be building 5 or 6 shops, and I would need a mechanic trainer to oversee. You're going to be in white short, walking around, oversee 1 or 3 shops, and you're going to be training. You're going to train few mechanics, and your incentive is going to grow with our business, and you might make $300,000 a year. It's possible with us. I mean, with our grow a business, if you become the part, you become not an employee, but you'll be as our associate of our business. We'll give you. I mean, it's like public company. You give them little shares. So somehow and again, that's a very crucial thing to do, is to build a package of incentives that people gonna really want to choose you instead of somebody else. And you as a leader, you have to offer, I mean, inviting, enticing, glowing but realistic package of incentives that people, specifically smart. If you want to hire best people, then you have to give them something to go after. A future, exactly, exactly. And again, that's the huge a part of building a successful business.
And
Again,
what
that's
we got-
what
what
you
we
have
got-
to put on paper. It's a segments of paper. I had, business like when I was doing my packaged services for about 17 years or 20 years, 94 2004, yeah, about 15 years. And I didn't have to fire, not a single employee just left. I had hundreds of them, not a single of them left. And I had business not just in the United States, in Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, Europe, in Netherlands, in Germany, Austria, Spain, New Zealand, Australia, and on and on. It was global operation.
Yeah, but it was a new operation. It was something that hasn't been done before.
Right. It was.
In here, in this, is a different kind of, it's a different equation because you're dealing with something that has been around. And then the other thing is why be a mechanic when you can be a web developer or an engineer developing apps?
That's
Using the same
that's a
type of
human resource expertise that every business owner must have, must understand that you're dealing with human beings. And because if you hire just a human resource specialist, most of the time they've been trained, but they are not part of your business. They are not thinking as you, the owner of a business. So many times what they would do is basically technical, but not really. They don't put their heart into hiring correct people or looking for correct people or writing job description that is appealing or relevant even for the growth of business for you. So basically, when you build from scratch this small business, it depends on the business size. You see, like when I had business, I had to hire best possible lawyers, international lawyers. Those are very expensive lawyers, but because of nature of my business, I had to have like national best lawyers in different countries. And actually, my lawyers used to work for presidents of those countries. So I had best of the best lawyers everywhere. And because of nature of my business, but like Jeff Widman, Widman, the former vice president of Procter & Gamble, he was one of my clients, and when he came back, he said, Valentin, how come you run such a complicated process? He saw my process, but it works like clockworks. What's the secret? I said, Jeff, first of all, this business I wrote from scratch, the entire plan. I took my time to write it, everything. And another thing, that key people, I'm hiring myself everywhere. And I train them. And I give instructions to those people how they would hire people under them, under their responsibility, and how they would treat them. We used to treat our drivers better than probably doctors being treated in the United States. My goal was our drivers must have been able to buy new clothing. In a Soviet, basically it was collapse, 1990s. It was mafia. I mean, it was like people were making like $100 a month, $200 a month, that's all. And my people, managers, used to make $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month. Top managers. Imagine. It was like crazy. And we could have hired drivers and who could have paid them, let's say, $150, and they would have been happy. But my goal was to hire best of the best. So what we went after hiring people that were trained to drive ambulances. So they're basically like doctors. They've been trained to drive properly, how to carry people, how to be responsible. They've been vetted by the government. So, and when I hire those people, first of all, they are professionals. And when I offer them $800 per month, wow, this is like too much money. But the demand of that we've put, they could have been called to take somebody to the airport or from the airport or some emergencies, 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's their job. And so that's how you have to think about business and people. I could not hire, let's say, a young guy that drives really good car. He's a race car driver, but he would put in danger my clients that are like Johnson & Johnson family. Johnson & Johnson themselves, adopted from Kazakhstan. Or like vice president of Texas Instruments or Procter & Gamble. I mean, I could not allow just a driver from a street to drive my people, to provide our services. So because of level, what I was doing, I was designing a not just service, but who is going to execute those services.
So here's the issue that I'm seeing, like the correlation between that, what you're describing, and what the auto repair business in the United States is right now from Val's point of view, and that is that at $800 for a driver that makes $150, if we'd made that same type of comparison here, it's like saying that mechanic that's making $17 an hour, a beginner mechanic, or let's say a intermediate B level, as Val mentioned earlier, if he's making $25 an hour, let's instead of paying him $25 an hour, let's pay him $50 an hour, and because he's going to be working on very specific vehicles that the job has to be done correctly that one time, right? Or whatever. So then the question is, are you going to have those kind of clients that are going to pay $50 an hour for a technician, let alone the business? So the business has to charge a labor rate. So we're talking about, let's say like 60% or 50% minimum. So, or like 80% it has to be marked up. So you're talking about your oil change is going to cost you $200, $250. And then you have to compete with the local market, because then why take it to you when I can take it to the dealer? Is going to cost less. So if you have a lot of capital to back you up, which you can do that, you can pay $800 versus $150. That's obviously going to make it a lot easier versus when you can't do that because you're competing with everybody else in the market. So how would you solve that problem? Because money can't solve that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We're talking about totally different businesses.
Yeah, not sustainable.
Totally different businesses. We're talking about totally different, let's say, systems. First of all, my clients were Americans, so they were able to pay me money that I could have. I was able to afford to pay all of those bonuses and money. Even that, I mean, our drivers were basically on base salary, because I didn't want them to, when they have time, they're driving with somebody else. I mean, they're making extra money. They are late for my people. My training was this: if you meet clients at, let's say 1 o'clock, 1 p.m., you cannot come even 30 seconds earlier. You cannot knock on the door. You cannot come in. Why? Those clients could do anything you can imagine. They could have sex. They could be in a toilet. They could be doing anything. It is not your time. You cannot come in earlier than 1 p.m. And 12:59 is not 1 p.m. Number one. Number two, you cannot come later than, let's say, 2 minutes after 1 p.m. If you are late, you know that you have to call ahead of time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that you know that you're not making, to tell clients, so you're going to be late for this at this amount of time because of traffic or whatever, something. Why? Clients could get dressed up, getting ready to go in Siberia, and get sweat, get hot, and then they're getting hot, and then you arrived 20 minutes late, they're going out, they're getting sick, and you screw their health, the entire program. So there is a precision to every processes that you design and why. And the people that you hire must understand why you cannot come in 30 seconds earlier. You have to explain to them. So when you hire a mechanic, you have to be able to explain. If Valera said today, they're not putting all the bolts in or whatever, they're not putting all the parts back in correctly and so on. So you have to be able convincingly present them with a presentation so they understand that if they're gonna miss to put just one part in, the car was gonna drive, but something gonna fall apart, and the company is gonna be sued. And because you were at fault, we're gonna charge you up to 50% of money we're gonna lose. Let's say we're gonna lose $50,000, you're gonna be paying $25,000, and that's in a contract. This is your car, your responsibility. It's my shop, but I'm paying insurance, I'm covering all of that, but you are personally responsible for that. And those people that are responsible enough, they're gonna sign and they're gonna agree. How to compete with different, auto shops repairs? Yeah, very simple.
For the technician.
Very simple. When you are dressed up really nicely, you want to go out, and you have a beautiful girl, and you want to take her out. You have choice of places to go, right? Which one are you going to take her? Will you be looking at the money that you're going to be spending, or you're going to be looking for the quality of services that would be provided to you and to your girl?
The experience.
The experience, yes. And the services and experience. So what it is not necessarily that people always are looking for the cheapest possible oil change, but people are looking for something specific. Red carpet, flowers. That's what we did exactly. People are looking for experience, not just for themselves but for their car. Every time they service with you, you give them car not just serviced well, but it's washed inside out, it's cleaned, and they are jumping in the car like a new car completely. That's additional charge. But you offer as a package. Like you go into a really high 5 stars restaurant, and you are getting butlers and bread, and the chef is working at your table, and you're willing to pay because you experience not just quality of the food that you're getting, but you have experience of lifetime.
Okay, but that's okay.
So what it is that
you're talking
you
about
can you
customers,
can
but we're
actually
talking about mechanics.
you can actually, if you properly present your services, I'm sure that in Seattle area you can find people that are going to come to you and pay you $1,000 to change their oil in their car. They will. I have no doubt about it. It's all prestige, how you present, and what you do for them and their car.
So
What it is, a lot of
basically,
clients,
it'll
a lot
be
of
prestige to come to you.
yes,
If you come
it's
to
a
you,
prestige.
it's so
It's a
expensive.
prestige. It's a prestige, exactly. It's a class. In this area, there are a lot of wealthy people, and a lot of them,
They want to feel better than everybody.
absolutely, absolutely, they want to feel that they've been treated. Oh, you have to know their name. You have to, I mean, the nickname, names. You know, you have to know how to address them
That's good.
properly. You're Mr. or Mrs. and and so on. So you have to make them special, and not just them, but their belonging, which is a car. It's made very, very special. You put a little card inside, Mr. Such and such, will love you. You're wonderful, blessings and whatever. And there are some little candies for you from Estonia. Very special.
That's good.
Uh,
That's great.
you will get a lot of clients, those that are looking for such service, and they are not looking for $200 oil
It's
exchange.
memorable.
Yeah, memorable. And you will find clients that are gonna ask you to come to pick up their car to service their car at your place. That's another segment of owners of cars.
But then again, we were talking about technicians because the customers are not a problem. There isn't enough technicians. So let me describe the environment. Actually, Val, can you describe the auto repair environment in our local area or pretty much all over the country? What's happening in auto repair? What the industry looks like?
Again and again.
No, Val.
Oh, Val, whatever. How you doing, Val?
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking.
Is it because it's Val and Val?
Can I have beer?
Beer? Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Okay, can you?
In a glass. Like in a something, like in a glass. Go ahead. Yeah, Valera knows that. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
much.
What's the industry like right now?
А ну-ка повтори вопрос конкретно.
What's the industry like right now in auto repair? Basically, what I'm trying to go at is clients.
Can you put it in a
There's
glass?
there's a lot of clients
Uh-huh.
and not enough mechanics.
Oh, yeah, we got full shop and
Not
we
just us, everybody.
oh, everybody. Usually it's not quality mechanic who can work on vehicle, customer vehicle. It's a lot of.
Thank you.
Usually, it's every vehicle got problems. It needs service and repair. Every vehicles, and people usually driving. All people use driving vehicles, and maybe couple vehicles in just one family. Some people got couple vehicles, and if you need clients, it's a lot of clients, but not enough shops and quality mechanic who can provide service. How I see it's situation.
So what ends up happening is clients will come and then
They
they'll actually
ask for service, but we doesn't have time.
that and
We
also
reschedule
one example when I talk to my neighbor, he's an old guy, retired guy. He says that I used to take my car, and I hear the story all the time when I meet new clients. They always say about who they used to take the car to. There used to be a mechanic that had a shop here, such and such and such, and the mechanic, the boss, the owner was the master tech or the guy that was running the show, and he died, and that's it. The customers all lost their mechanic, and there was no replacement, and that is 80% of the stories of all the shops. They're all run by the
It's
mechanic
same story I
that-
got. Same.
that dies, and then
What it is, it's
you're not dying, so he's
No,
not the
no.
same story.
I before I serve all families. Usually couple. It's not couple. A lot of whole family came in my shop. I know all of them vehicles. I know problems all vehicles, And usually whole family services, if need oil change, I just call them or they came and say, oh, do you know my brother need and my sister will come, and I just writing when they will come, and they will come, and they told, oh, next time after my sister, my dad.
Okay.
So we just kind of like started talking about service where a staffing agency, how you can use a staffing agency to kind of help you filter through employees, or they can work
Hiring process and choosing and
So
elevate.
Basically, explain to us, Valentin, what are the benefits and drawbacks of using a staffing agency?
Okay.
Consulting firm?
There are two ways to work with staffing agencies. Number one, you give them exact descriptions what you're looking for, and if they find those people, you hire them through temporary service, which gives you basically, you hire them for 1 day, 3 days. You have no responsibility to keep them for any month or any period of time. If you don't like them, you don't like them. So basically, number one, you give them a job description as much as possible. So they look for you. They advertise and they look for you for such people as you ask. Number one, and you hire via the temporary service. So basically, you pay to temporary service. They pay the the insurance, liability, worker compensation.
You pay for it technically because they're going to charge you for this.
Yes. But you pay them much less than you would pay yourself, because they have thousands of people working for them, so their insurances are pretty high, really good insurance, and at very low price, because they hire thousands of people for different companies. They hire like for Boeing and for airports and so on and so on. So they provide you excellent insurance, excellent protections, excellent services for very little money.
How do you find those companies?
They are all over. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
here in town you have
Okay.
staffing. So
Next one.
not number two. You go to talk to staffing services in whatever, meet with them. Definitely, I advise to meet with owners or managers. I do that always. I don't talk to secretaries. I mean, I meet with owners. Period. And I tell them this: I need 5 people, and I have them, but I don't want to hire them because I don't want to pay taxes, and you pay all of that stuff. So I will send them 5 people to you. You hire them for me via temporary, and I'll pay you. So that's how it works, and it works both ways really well, because you get in excellent insurances, you get in excellent protection, and you have no liability basically on those people. You like them, then those people that you really love, that you really want to work, then you offer them, hey guys, you're doing really good. I might hire you completely for the company in the next,
Full-time,
full time. So
it's good.
yeah,
You don't need to go through a staffing agency.
staffing agencies, yes, staffing agencies.
I guess the staffing agency then takes the responsibility of the employee.
You call them temporary agencies or staffing agencies. It's different things. It's temporary services. Temporary services. They hire. They provide that such as services, and they are really reasonable, very reasonable. You tell them that I'm going to be paying these people $20 an hour. And they'll tell you, okay, and you're going to pay us $24 because we provide insurance, we provide payroll, we provide that and that. So you don't have to have a payroll. You don't have to do anything.
Same what paid for when we hired. Same amount.
It's going to be, you're going to pay more even, because their service is much cheaper because they do it for thousands of people. So that's why they're even much better for you to use that.
It's how I see it. Our neighbor, where they can take its employee because they hire a lot of new one, but they got some system. Maybe they use it them.
I can ask them, but I don't think they use it.
What it is, a lot of companies, specifically well-established companies and larger companies, that's what they do, absolutely, because they would not put themselves into a position to hire and then fire and then to pay unemployment and so on. So they are smart. That's why you have those staffing services or temporary services, in every town, in every city, everywhere.
And another thing, we spend money for advertising.
Yeah, you don't have to.
It's
You don't
a
have
lot
to
of
spend
money.
money for
No, you
advertisement.
still
Yeah.
do, because you said you have to bring the people to download.
Either or. I mean, if you have your own
Depend.
people, you put them through as well. But primarily, it's like either or. They advertise for you, and they do nationwide. I mean, there are a lot of companies that are nationwide, huge companies. There are a lot of local companies, so it depends. So they have huge network, and whatever you provide, let's say you write them, listen, I need a long term. I need a mechanic with 25 years experience, this and this and this. I need self-reliant and da 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 da. You put everything on, and that's what they advertise. They look through the hundreds of cities. I mean, all the United States, and they offer those people, hey guys, I have here business. Would you like to move to Seattle, or would you like to talk to the owners? And they make an offer, and then if a person agrees, then they, hey, listen, we have people for you. And then you look at them, you look at the resume and everything. So, okay, yeah, guys, that person is good, and I'm going to pay his move or whatever it is you offer him, based on whatever you wish. But this is really a working system for a lot of companies. I mean, that's how America works, basically.
Now, the other question is like, well, what if there's a shortage? There's a shortage of technicians. They're just not that many because people, for example, they don't. Why would you be a mechanic when you can be a repair tech? You can be a repair tech of AC systems and make twice as much. Why be a mechanic when it's harder? And be a computer programmer, you'll make 3 times as much.
What it is,
be a mechanic?
What it is a market forces. If there is not enough mechanics, then you raise prices. That's all it is. That's all it is. You raise prices up to $100 an hour or $200 an hour. It doesn't matter what you charge the clients, because that's the price to acquire new good mechanics. And as the market force is going to define how much you'll be able to charge. If you say there are no mechanics, meaning that people don't fix their cars, but somehow they do. So there are mechanics and people are fixing their cars, people driving on the road. What it is that...
And then the mechanics that are working for themselves, they're working for themselves because they're not making enough money working for somebody else. So you need to make working for somebody else better than working for yourself.
Yeah, a lot of mechanics, like let's say little carpenters. I mean, they work for themselves, which is fine. But not everyone would go for a small, auto shop. Not everyone would go. I mean, there are some people go for prestige. They wanna fix their cars at a prestige place. That's what I'm saying. How do you set up yourself? Are you setting up yourself like average auto shop, or you are something or a little bit special?
So now we're talking
How
about
you
image.
differentiate yourself?
Now you're talking about image.
Yeah, what it is
So
that
Val, why do we have a boat in our logo?
you have boat.
Yeah, boat on the
Boat.
logo.
Oh, boat in the logo.
Because I like it boat, and I planning from auto shop just open boat shop.
I mean,
And same time I make this logo with car and boat.
what it is, guys. Again, if you're gonna, it is up to you to design a business plan, a vision. But if you're gonna go, let's say, to a higher segment of serving more expensive cars, those people that own more expensive cars, they usually own boats. So what it is that when you fix their car and you offer them fixing their boats, that's the package. You cannot find that service serving people that are barely surviving. So a little fixing car for, or change oil for $70 or 72 or 68, and you dig back and forth like $4.
What was the last oil? How much did you pay on your last oil change?
I just go to I don't know, honestly, maybe a couple $100.
$100.
Yeah, at least, because I do full synthetic, and whatever they, I would say minimum $100.
Do they also work on boats?
No, 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 no. What it is that uh, we have special auto shops like showing European cars. We have European auto shop,
Yeah.
German shop, and
they're called specialty shops.
specialty shops.
Yeah.
And that what I told Valera is you would make yourself a distinctive if you're going to call yourself, let's say, British Cars Auto Shop. You definitely going to make yourself distinctive in Seattle area. Period.
Pick a niche.
Yeah, it's a niche. It's going to be Rolls Royce, Jaguar, the Range Rover. So you're going to have a niche, and those people usually own boats. Usually.
But if you're working on that, why work on the boats?
Oh, the boats are you making just more money on boats. Yeah, it's a much more complex. It's but you're making a lot of money. It's a different people. Again, stepping into that segment, serving those people, you have to prop up yourself. You have to understand that you're going to be working with educated, self-driven, demanding people. But they'll be glad to pay you money, no problem. They do have money. So if you are stepping in that category, then you have to have suits, you have to have ties, you have to have a different image to serve that crowd. I mean, if you are ready to do that, then you do that. If you are not, they don't. Like what I do now, let's say I'm working now with a particular segment of businesses. And whenever I go, I dressed up as they think I'm a city inspector or somebody with inspection of something. Because they see me the way I dressed up and they respect me. I have zero knowledge of industry. I mean, basically zero knowledge. But the way I project myself, doesn't matter what I say, they believe. Simply because when I walk in and the way I carry myself and the way I present myself, they have respect. And I walk in from the street, I'm just walking in. That's all it is. And I start talking. So it's how you behave, how you project yourself in verbal, image, ability to communicate, straightforward, watching, looking into eyes to eye, and so on. It's a lot of, again, it's a business vision. It's like building a car. It has so many parts to build a really top-notch car. So that's what it is. But you have to have a vision. You have to understand who you are, what you're building, and you have to carry yourself the way. And that's basically
It's beginning with how's it called, organize and punctuation.
Vision. I mean, first of all, number one, vision. I mean, it's your dream, and don't be afraid. I mean, you actually, not that you can be afraid. Get a piece of paper, and start writing number one segments of that you have to address. Okay, vision, and leave it like half a page for vision. Whatever the goals to build or people, how are you going to be addressing all of those segments? And you have to get like a page or two for each segment, and you have to write what I'm going to do, how I'm going to, my image, what am I building, how I want to see my image in 2 years and 3 years. Will I be able to sell my business, or I'm going to be just dissolving it? Am I preparing to sell this business for $5 million or, for $1? So what do you do? How do you build your client base? Who your clients are? There's government clients. I mean, let's say you have $1 million. $1 million operation. I mean, your revenue is $1 million. It's a rule of thumb is that you can sell that business for about $3 million. $3 million to $4. So basically, you multiply your annual revenue to 3 to 4 times. and that's the value. So, does it worth to build a client's base to show $1 million? Yeah, if you want to sell a business in 3 years for $3 million and retire, that's what you do. You build a business with $1 million with a clients, government clients, municipal clients, and the loyal clients with a great reputation. And then after 3 years, you sell it for $3 million and invest in something else.
So, Val, what did you, what, like, three things are you going to take away from this conversation? What have you learned, and like, what maybe thinking differently about now?
Number one, it's I like it. If you boss or you are leader, it's different. Why we fight with you? Because you doesn't understand me, and sometimes I don't understand you. Because right now I see it's why. Because it's boss and leader. It's two different things. It's number one.
It's a very crucial, very crucial.
Yeah. I saw because when we talking, it's different leader or boss. Yeah. Number two.
I never yelled. I mean, I never yelled at my employees because all my employees were basically like unspoken requirement. You have to have twice more education than the boss that hires you. So basically, if I had college degree, whatever, something, all my employees primarily had 2 higher degrees, master degrees. A lot of prosecutors, judges, and all those, and we became all friends. I mean, even until now, and I never had to yell at them or raise my voice because simply the quality of people. Because I'm a leader, I'm not a boss. I never want to be a boss. I'm a leader, and the quality of people I hire and I train, they do not deserve to be yelled, and they're not going to understand. They're not going to appreciate. And I would not degrade myself to scream at somebody. It's just not my style. If I ask you, understand. This is our goal. Okay, we're doing that. Clear. Okay, good. Let's get going. That's all it is. It's just, of course, it's not that simple, but that's what it is. Yeah, it is absolutely imperative to understand the style of yourself, your style, and what you're building, how you're going to lead the company. If you're going to be boss, usually the small companies, they're bossy. I mean, it's like the boss running around and barking at everybody. I mean, nonstop. That's the boss. And basically, people that under him have less capacity, less brains than him.
Yeah.
I hire opposite. I hire people. Listen, I'm hiring now a guy in construction industry that build the tallest buildings in downtown Miami. One building is, you can look it up, Panorama. It's $935 million. And he's going to be working for me, Ariel. $1 billion. Most experienced guy you can find. How many high rises? I mean, you see it like high, I mean, huge. And he built them, number of them. And he's a good friend of mine. So it depends. I mean, I respect him a lot. He respects me, but I say, listen, I have never built anything, but you've built the monumental high rises. So I do respect you. So we kind of very good friends.
You never built shit?
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the again, it's a very fundamental principles or bricks or stones or foundation that you have to understand about yourself as a business owner.
Yeah. Number 2, it's company who more educate and got huge experience hiring company what we trying to learn this stuff and spend a lot of money on advertising and spare time for interview them and figure out how's working all law if it hire them, I like this.
Temporary service staffing.
Yeah,
temporary
service.
staffing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like, but I don't know yet how it's working exactly. But it's looks for me it will help us a lot.
I advise you both go to meet with the owner of a company. Just call them few. I mean, like 2-3 of them. Choose one
Yeah,
that specializes in this area. Just go to meet them.
go
Not
to,
with the secretary, but with the owner
yeah, and take,
or the manager. I mean, usually the
couple.
owners or managers branches.
Yeah,
because
because
usually,
I see it on Carstar, our neighbor. They hire a lot of new guys. I
I don't
just
think they're using a staffing agency, but like I said, I'll ask them and I'll figure out if they are. I'm sure they would have told me by now.
if they
using it.
told you,
I don't think they wouldn't have. It'd be something that would have came up because I asked them how are they recruiting. They said the same thing. Recruiting sites such as Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Craigslist, all that other stuff. And then the other guy next door, he's doing the same type of stuff. So basically, that is the recruiting space. That's fine. Staffing agencies are also in the same recruiting space. That's just their job. So what I'm seeing from when you're talking about staffing agencies is the different. Like you have to recruit your own people, but if you want that 90-day period to truly be a trial period where you don't have any risk, to mitigate that risk, you use a staffing agency to hire them, and then once they pass that 90-day period, you take them on full time.
yeah, what it is
But you
just
still need to know how to take them on full time, and you still have to have your own HR department that handles that other particulars. But in the initial phase, that temporary period is truly temporary while you figure out if they're the right person for you by using a staffing agency. That's something I didn't think about before, which is actually a good point.
yeah, what it is that I advise you to both. Basically, have a note, your ideas. I mean, your perfect ideas. Put the notes and just go to meet with the owners. And hey, guys, listen. This is what we're dealing with. I mean, we have excellent staff, excellent shop, and that's what we're looking for. How we can work together. How can
They've contacted us. So when we were recruiting for a shop manager,
they would contact you? Yeah.
They immediately started contacting
Yeah.
us. They were like, "Hey, we have managers everywhere." So that's where we go back to. It's really hard to find technicians because they just don't exist. And then there's a million managers everywhere. Everybody wants to be a manager. They want to manage people. And you have in this area, especially, you have everybody wants to be in cybersecurity. Everybody wants to be a computer programmer. Everything else, dental assistants, whatever, medical field, great. A lot of people. It's really easy to hire people, but mechanics. Good luck finding somebody. First of all, they don't like mechanics for some reason. They're not really. They're really picky, and right now what I'm noticing is they're into things that we're not participating in, such as building race cars. They like to race things. Of course, a mechanic builds cars. He fixes cars. Why wouldn't they race vehicles? Do we race vehicles? We don't. Why not? Why aren't we building super fast engines? Why aren't we building the engines that are like the craziest things in the magazines? Why don't we build that and have that and be like, hey, check out what we are doing here. If you're a mechanic with us, you get to build this cool shit.
but
And you get to race it at the racetracks here. And there's a racetrack like 20 miles from us. Why don't, like, hey, we build these race engines. They're well known. If you're driving this race engine, you're going to win races. Guess what? Our mechanics build them and they race them. And now the mechanic's like, whoa, if I work for you, I'm not only going to fix cars, I'm going to build race engines, which I love racing because I'm a mechanic.
What it is here, you definitely have to look for how to differentiate yourself from other shops in a better way. That's number one. And number two, you have to look always specifically. You have to understand, Kirill, and it's like one word, proprietary. One word, proprietary. What does it mean is that proprietary belongs to you. It's like it's mine. It's not patents. It's just proprietary. That's the way we do it.
The way you do business.
Yes, and it could be part of anything you can imagine in your
Communications,
anything proprietary. And when you submit your proposals for the municipalities, hospitals, if they see in their proposal, very few people understand and know, proprietary, that differentiate you immediately with all other people, with all other businesses and proposals. So when you do something proprietary, and then another one, a word like proprietary again, and you do this, and they say, wow. And that gives power or authority to government decision makers to give business to you instead of others, because others do not have that word proprietary. It's a very kind of little trick that when you work with government, you have to know that type of stuff, and you can do anything. Yeah, the language. Proprietary, because that differentiates you.
Are you saying the language, like understanding the language of auto repair, is very important? The language in any business is very important.
Yeah, I mean it's a different vocabulary, different technicalities, a different definitely every business has its own vocabulary set of rules.
Can you properly speak the American automobile repair business language if you can't speak the English language?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you like me, if I open any books and I read any articles about vehicle or specifically, I understand, I can explain you everything. But if I talk some different stuff, sometimes I don't understand what they ask and talking.
So anyway, I mean we've covered a lot of things. It's time to finish, because what is it? 12 o'clock?
12.
It's midnight. 10 minutes to midnight.
Wow.
Okay.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning there, so it's like, for me, it's like...
So to recap, we talked about business fundamentals. We talked about how to structure a business, human resources, hiring, using a temp service, what it was like to start a business for Valentin in the ex-Soviet Union states, international training, what it was like for Val to build a successful repair facility from scratch, and all of that in between. Tune in next time. First of all, any last words, Valentin, for the listeners? This is the first time you came on a podcast. Is this the first time you've ever had a podcast?
Cool.
Valentin.
Oh, yeah, basically, yeah. I have invitations, but I always declined up until this point. It's like family podcast, so.
What about Val? What about you? What do you think?
It's nice. Yeah, I enjoy it.
So yeah, there you go. Any last words for the listeners?
I mean, it depends. I mean, if you start any business, you basically have to think about all of those little segments that we were talking, basically, and that's just a very brief points but they are fundamentally important for any business.
You can definitely splinter off into. You can splinter off deeper into any one of those subjects.
Absolutely, and you can come up with many more. But again, those are fundamentals. But definitely, you can talk about business for hours, really, on each segment, and those again, each segment.
People that have become professional in those specific individual segments.
Because each segment requires specialty, basically.